How do you create a corporate culture when your teams are remote? Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of The Future in 5. My name is Jacob Morgan. This is where I share my thoughts, ideas, and commentary on the future of work in 5 minutes or less. Today I wanted to talk to you about how to create a corporate culture when you have teams that are remote. Before we get into that, I want to give a big thanks to the sponsors of this week's episode, Work Market. If you haven't heard of Work Market, they are a vendor in the freelance management system space. They help organizations and freelancers find each other. And we know that the freelancer economy is becoming increasingly more important as organizations have to think differently about the way we work, the way that they service, the way that they innovate, and the way that they deal with working with customers and with employees. So if you get a moment, check out workmarket.com. I would greatly appreciate it. The folks at Work Market would greatly appreciate it. And hopefully I'll be able to make many, many more of these types of videos going forward. So having said that, let's get into this week's topic, which is how do you create a corporate culture if you have remote teams? I can't remember the name of the person that asked me this, so I'm sorry, but somebody left me a comment in a YouTube video from 1 or 2 weeks ago. I suppose I should go look it up, but since I'm in the middle of filming, I'll have to go back and edit it later. So she left me a question and she said, I'm part of a remote team. And how do I learn to fit in and become a part of the corporate culture? And it's a big challenge for a lot of companies around the world. Now, first we have to get real a little bit and understand that if you are working in an office versus somebody else that is working full-time remotely, it's not going to be the same thing, right? If I am a part of an organization and I only work remotely and everybody else is showing up into the office every day, it's going to be different. It's not going to be the same. I'm not going to get access to the people the same way. I'm not going to be part of the fun discussions. There's going to be a difference. So that's the first thing that we need to realize. It's not going to be the same thing regardless of how hard you try. But virtual versus in-person, two different things. That's part of the, I guess you could say the privilege or part of the benefit that you get working from home is you get to work from home. But part of the things that you have to sacrifice are these in-person, these face-to-face things, and perhaps not always feeling as a part of the corporate culture as other people. However, that doesn't mean that you are completely alone in your own little satellite island somewhere and nobody knows who you are. There are, of course, some things that organizations can do. And if you're doing this at your company, leave a comment below. Curious to hear from you. So there are a couple things that I've seen organizations do. The first is during conference calls, usually the telecommuters, the flexible workers, those are the employees that are given first dibs to talk. So you talk, if you're a telecommuter first, nobody is allowed to interrupt you. But people that are sitting in the conference room, you as a telecommuter are able to interrupt them because you don't get a sense of the body language, etc. So that's one thing. You can prioritize telecommuters during conference calls. Number two, it's still important to have face-to-face conversations. So bringing in these telecommuters every now and then for events, for parties that your company has, is important. You should absolutely do that. Number three, leverage collaboration technologies, whether it be video conferencing solutions, internal social networks. Leverage these technologies to make sure that employees are a part of your organization. Number four, sharing. You really want to make sure that people that aren't in the office have access to what's going on at the company. In fact, you might want to overshare with them. Give them access to information. Give them access to people. Let them know what's going on at the company. Number five, you can integrate, and I've seen a few companies do this creatively, you can integrate their virtual presence in a physical way. For example, in your office, you might have a wall devoted to freelancers where you put up a picture of all the employees and you put some information about them. That way, people that work in the office walk by that wall and they say, okay, these are some of the freelancers that they're part of the company, yet they are still not physically with us. So those are just some ideas, some of the things that you can do. You got to get quirky, you got to get a little creative with it. But there are certainly things that you can do to make these virtual employees and freelancers feel like they are still a part of your team and a part of your company. I think a fifth really important thing that you can do is listen to them. Pay extra attention, spend an extra amount of time listening to them. Have one-on-one conversations with them, find out what their challenges are, what their frustrations are. I know I always say you should listen to the voice of every employee with your company, but you might want to devote a little bit of extra attention to the people that are not physically in the office, that can't get that face-to-face time, that can't get that regular interaction going forward. So I think those are 5 things that organizations can do. Of course, I'm sure there are many more. You probably can think of a lot of other ideas yourself. Again, leave me a comment below and let me know what you think. But again, part of the reality, part of what we have to expect and understand is that being hundreds or thousands of miles away versus sitting face-to-face across from somebody is not going to be the same thing. We can leverage technologies, we can leverage some of these tactics and strategies to help make employees feel like they're still a part of the team, but it is just not going to be the same. And I think that's what we need to realize. So if you're having challenges with that, if you feel like you're left out, like you're upset, you're unhappy, you're not part of the corporate culture, then the reality might be that telecommuting, working from home, being a freelancer is just not for you. And that is totally okay. If you're interested in getting access to more episodes of these videos, the podcasts, the articles that I'm working on, etc., you can visit thefutureorganization.com. If you have a question or a topic that you want me to explore, you can send me a tweet at JacobM, or you can send me an email, jacob@thefutureorganization.com. And of course, if you're interested in sponsoring or participating in some of these videos and podcasts and things that I'm involved in, send me an email, let me know. It would be great to team up with some really interesting forward-thinking companies. And again, big thanks to WorkMarket for making this week's episode possible. Please check out workmarket.com if you get a minute. Again, I would really appreciate it, as would they. I'll see you next time on an episode of The Future in 5. And in the meantime, leave a comment below and let me know what you think. How can remote teams, how can companies that have remote employees help make them feel a part of the corporate culture, even though they never see them face to face? I'll see you next time. Hey, are you interested in the future of work? If so, make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel so you can get all the latest content on the future of work and stay up to date on all the latest trends and happenings. Not to mention, you will make me very, very happy. Make sure to subscribe.